December 1st, 2025, a date that will be remembered in both Washington and Caracas for years to come. Washington, D.C. is buzzing with shock and speculation. The city, already tense with political intrigue, is suddenly thrown into chaos as rumors swirl and officials scramble for answers. Phones ring non-stop in the White House and Pentagon as news breaks. President Donald Trump has confirmed a direct phone call with Venezuelan President Nicolás Maduro. The corridors of power are alive with urgent whispers and frantic activity. This isn't just diplomacy, it's a political earthquake. The shockwaves ripple through every level of government, leaving even seasoned insiders stunned. The revelation came not from an official statement but a leaked memo, later confirmed by Trump himself on Truth Social. The leak spreads like wildfire, catching even the most connected journalists off guard. He called it a very good, very direct talk with a man his administration has long tried to oust. The irony is not lost on anyone. Trump, once Maduro's fiercest critic, now speaking of dialogue and understanding. The world is left with more questions than answers. Headlines across the globe ask, what was discussed? What does this mean for the future of U.S.-Venezuela relations? U.S. warships and Venezuelan jets have been circling each other for months. Now, suddenly, the leaders are talking. The military standoff that once seemed on the brink of escalation is now overshadowed by this unexpected dialogue. For Venezuelan Americans, the news is confusing and feels like betrayal. Many had hoped for a tougher stance, not a sudden conversation with the man they blame for their homeland's suffering. In Caracas, some see hope for relief from sanctions. Others fear Maduro is gaining legitimacy. The city is divided, some celebrate, others protest, and everyone is glued to their screens waiting for more details. The State Department is silent, suggesting even top diplomats were blindsided. The lack of official comment only deepens the mystery and fuels speculation. The stakes are sky high, and the world is watching, waiting for the next move. Every government, every analyst, is trying to read between the lines and predict what comes next. This single call has upended years of policy and set the stage for a new, unpredictable chapter. The rules have changed overnight, and no one knows what tomorrow will bring. Amid the chaos and swirling rumors, here's what we can say with absolute certainty. The Trump-Maduro call did, in fact, take place. In a week filled with speculation and conflicting reports, this is the one fact that stands out from the noise. Trump's own social media post, paired with a terse and carefully worded White House statement, confirmed the call happened last week. Both sources agree the conversation focused on national security and regional stability, though neither side has elaborated on what that actually means in practice. On Venezuelan television, President Maduro described the conversation as brave and necessary. He claimed it lasted over an hour and said the two leaders discussed the possibility of normalizing relations, a significant shift if true, given years of hostility. But beyond these public statements, no transcript or specific details have been released by either government. The content of the call remains tightly guarded. The agenda is still a mystery. There's been no official word on whether sanctions, the fate of political prisoners, or the presence of U.S. military forces were discussed. All of that remains behind closed doors. What's clear is that both leaders are working hard to control the narrative. Trump, as always, keeps his options open, refusing to be pinned down. Meanwhile, Maduro is already touting the call as a diplomatic victory for his government. For now, official information is limited to Trump's post, the White House's brief statement, and Maduro's televised remarks. There are no other reliable sources. Senior U.S. officials have remained conspicuously silent, refusing to answer questions or provide context. This silence hints at possible internal divisions within the administration and underscores the highly personal nature of Trump's approach to foreign policy. Everything else is speculation, filling the void left by official secrecy. The secrecy appears deliberate. The lack of detail only deepens the sense of mystery, fueling more questions than answers. This was a top-down move, orchestrated at the highest level, bypassing traditional diplomatic channels and leaving career diplomats on the sidelines. The administration itself appears divided, with some officials reportedly caught off guard. Meanwhile, the world's leaders and analysts are left to guess what comes next. For now, the only thing we know for sure is that the call happened. But even this single event is already shifting the diplomatic landscape, raising new questions, and changing the game in ways we're only beginning to understand. The call comes at a moment of mounting uncertainty, echoing through the corridors of power as the world holds its breath. It arrives amid escalating military tensions in the Caribbean, a region now bristling with warships and uncertainty. The United States has dramatically ramped up its naval presence, officially under the banner of counter-narcotics operations. But the message is unmistakable. This is also a show of force, a clear signal of pressure directed at Venezuela's government. Caracas, in turn, views these maneuvers as a direct threat to its sovereignty. The Venezuelan government responds with large-scale military drills, fiery speeches, and a surge of nationalist rhetoric, determined to show it will not back down. Tensions have spilled into the skies, with Venezuelan fighter jets buzzing dangerously close to U.S. surveillance planes. Each encounter raises the risk of a miscalculation. A single wrong move could spark a dangerous incident. Both sides now openly accuse each other of aggression, trading barbs at press conferences and deepening their alliances with powerful global rivals. The U.S. points to the growing presence of Russian and Iranian military advisors in Venezuela, warning that their support for President Maduro is destabilizing the region and complicating any hopes for peace. Meanwhile, Venezuela claims the U.S. is plotting an invasion, using the threat of foreign intervention to rally its people and justify a heightened military alert. For ordinary Venezuelans, the looming threat of conflict has become part of daily life. The government uses the crisis to rally support and distract from a deepening economic catastrophe, while families watch the news with growing anxiety. The entire region now feels like a powder keg. One misstep, one misunderstanding, could ignite a conflict with consequences far beyond the Caribbean. Against this backdrop, the military standoff frames the Trump-Maduro call as even more extraordinary, a rare moment of direct communication in a sea of threats. It's a high-stakes gamble, with warships prowling the waters and fighter jets streaking overhead, every move watched by the world. The cycle of threat and counter-threat seems relentless, each side escalating its rhetoric and military posture, fueling a dangerous spiral. The call between leaders could be a crucial step toward de-escalation, or it might simply mark another twist in an increasingly dangerous game of brinkmanship. Around the globe, journalists, analysts, and ordinary citizens are glued to their screens, watching and waiting for the next move in this high-stakes drama. The stakes have never been higher. In the Caribbean, the world watches as history teeters on the edge, uncertain what tomorrow will bring. For years, U.S.-Venezuela relations have been defined by hostility and sanctions. The U.S. doesn't officially recognize Maduro, backing the opposition instead. The maximum pressure campaign aimed to force Maduro out through crippling sanctions. Now, a direct call from Trump to Maduro breaks all precedent. It bypasses the opposition and established diplomatic channels, undermining years of U.S. policy. The move risks weakening the opposition and signals that Washington may negotiate directly with the man it once called a dictator. This is a Nixon to China moment, direct talks with an adversary, signaling a possible policy shift. The call suggests that confrontation isn't working, and new tactics are on the table. Allies, opponents, and observers are forced to rethink their assumptions. The foundations of U.S. strategy are shaken. The future of Venezuela may now be decided in private talks, not public forums. This is a political earthquake, one that could redraw the map of the region. The world is bracing for aftershocks. Trump's goals: regional stability, countering rivals, and protecting U.S. interests. The pressure campaign failed to oust Maduro and fueled a refugee crisis. Trump may see direct negotiation as a faster way to secure wins, like freeing American prisoners or stabilizing oil prices. For Trump, a deal would be a signature achievement. Maduro's goal is survival. Sanctions have crippled Venezuela. Lifting them would revive the economy and strengthen his grip on power. The call itself is a win for Maduro, granting him legitimacy and undermining the opposition. He hopes for normalization with the U.S., economic relief, and reduced threat of intervention. For both leaders, this is about more than diplomacy. It's about legacy and survival. The stakes are personal, and the risks are enormous. Rumors are swirling. Deals on sanctions, secret mediators, even joint military plans. None of these are confirmed. The only fact: a call happened to discuss regional security. No official word on deals, mediators, or dramatic promises. Sensational claims lack credible sources and should be treated with skepticism. Misinformation can shape public opinion and destabilize both countries. Responsible reporting means sticking to confirmed facts and waiting for official updates. The real story is dramatic enough. No need for speculation. The Trump-Maduro call has shaken global alliances. U.S. allies like Colombia and Brazil feel blindsided, fearing their interests will be ignored. Venezuela's backers, Russia, China, Iran, see the call as a win, but worry about losing influence if relations normalize. International organizations are split. Some welcome dialogue, others fear it legitimizes Maduro. The European Union faces a dilemma: follow Washington's lead or stick with the opposition. Every major player is re-evaluating their strategy. The call has forced a global reset on Venezuela policy. A single phone call has shifted the geopolitical landscape. The world is recalibrating in real time. The next moves will shape the region for years. What's next? 3 scenarios. The call could be a one-off, with no real change, just a tactical move for quick wins. Or, it could start a real diplomatic process. Step-by-step talks, possible easing of sanctions for reforms. Or, talks could collapse, leading to even greater hostility and tougher measures. Domestic politics in both countries will shape the outcome. Trump faces critics at home, Maduro faces hardliners. The future is uncertain, shaped by leaders, allies, and events on the ground. The only certainty? The old script is gone. The next chapter is unwritten. The Trump-Maduro call is a turning point, ending years of predictable confrontation. Direct dialogue changes the conflict's nature and raises new questions. Is peace possible? Can a deal be struck? Diplomacy is now personal and unpredictable, driven by leaders' instincts. This approach risks confusion, but could break diplomatic deadlocks. Will this lead to real change, or just another false dawn? The world is watching, and the story is in motion. The call is not an ending, but a beginning, a new phase in a complex crisis. The next chapter is unwritten, and its authors are at the center of the storm.